We're joined today by Steve Ramsey, founder and guitarist for the band Satan, and they've got a new album out. It's called Songs in Crimson. Steve, how you doing, man?
Great, thanks, and you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for joining me.
That's absolutely no problem.
It's an honor speaking with you. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you, man.
Well, Satan is back. A new album, Songs in Crimson. Can you tell the listeners a bit about the new album?
Yeah, it's a little bit different to what we normally produce. Not through any contrived reason, but we noticed on this song it's called Songs in Crimson because on this album there isn't a song longer than 5 minutes, which is quite unlike the band. We like to write big epics. They're very much songs. They're punchy. They're straight at you, and they're catchy. And we hope people love the album. There's nothing over 5 minutes in the album, which is very strange for us.
Yeah, and the new single, Turn the Tide, is out, and you've got the video for it. You know, it's kind of hard to explain, but the new single somehow, it sounds modern, but also sounds like the classic, Court in the Act, Suspended Sentence albums. I mean, it's great that you're able to evolve, but, you're also staying true to your sound.
Yeah, I mean, for us, the technology, although it's a great thing, we feel like the way music is at the minute, it's very because of the digital formatting that everyone uses and the recording equipment. It's very tempting to iron out every little crease of every little thing that you produce, and we like to leave all those little wrinkles in there.
Well, yeah, you've had some lineup changes and, even changes to the band name over the years. But, the guys in Satan now, the guys who were there in the early days, and that's awesome. You guys have been through it together and you're still going strong.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason we weren't together through the 80s as this lineup was because of the press we got when we released the first album. We thought we were releasing something special, and then the only two countries that we'd played in and we knew anything about were the UK and in Holland. And the two main magazines, Kerrang and Aardschok, gave us bad reviews and said we weren't very good musicians. So we found that quite, at the time, being 17, it's sort of, we listened to that. We were cut by it and thought we were doing something wrong, and we thought we had to change. And in hindsight, we should have been doing exactly what we're doing now.
Yeah, for sure. Can you talk a bit about those early days? I mean, you were part of the big new wave of British heavy metal and, influenced basically everything that came after. I mean, at the time, did you know you were part of a movement, or were you just kind of making the music you wanted to?
We were always told that we were part of that because we recorded the albums at that time. But then those two reviews that we got were saying that we weren't like the other bands. We didn't fit in, which should have been a compliment. But when people tell you that you're part of something and they tell you you're not, it's difficult to accept that. And but I remember at the time there was a lot of other great bands like Angel Witch and Iron Maiden who were pushing things forward, and that's what we were trying to do. People ask us what kind of music we play, and if they ask me personally, I say it's progressive metal, because it incorporates a lot of different things that you can't just say it sounds like the bands from the new wave of British heavy metal, because it doesn't just do that.
Sure. Well, I mean, you guys are still selling tickets and making albums 40 some years later, and the guys that wrote those reviews, I'm sure, are long gone. So you had the last laugh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've been with Metal Blade Records now for a while, and I mean, you've been putting out some great albums pretty regularly. I mean, how's it been writing and recording these days with the guys?
I mean, we're all such good friends, and as musicians, we're so together as musicians that it comes easy, and it's we still don't understand how we're doing it. We didn't, when we got back together, we got back together to do one gig, and now to be sort of 5 albums in is crazy. And this one was probably the easiest one to write. It just went, it seemed quick, like bang, 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 and then there's all the songs there. And then looking at them and saying, what do we need to fix? Well, nothing, just do them like that. It was a really quick process, quicker than it normally takes us, And yeah, it's still there. And while it's still there, we're going to keep producing it.
Excellent. Yeah, those fans who were there back in the day, I mean, metal fans are so passionate and loyal, and I mean, they're still with you here 40 years later, so it's great you guys are still going.
Fantastic, yeah. What surprised us when we first got back together in 2011, though, was we did the Keep It True festival in Germany, and Oliver, the guy that runs it, kept telling us that we had a lot of young fans, and we didn't believe that. We thought, yeah, so we're going to go and do the show to a lot of old guys like us that are, that like the old heavy metal. And when we got there, I would say at least the audience, 50% of the audience were under 25, which we couldn't believe. And there were young kids at the front, and especially something that didn't happen in the early 80s. You'd see a guy with his girlfriend, and they're both listening to the band and both singing all the lyrics. It was like, there's girls into the band now at last. Crazy.
Yeah, I think back then you could tell that a lot of the women there were kind of drugged there by somebody else, probably.
Yeah. Well, the music metal wasn't for girls in the 80s, in the early 80s.
Well, Satan is touring now through September here overseas. Could we see you guys maybe hit the States for this album?
Yeah, the plans to come over to the States in March next year.
Okay.
So we'll be putting that together.
Well, yeah, that's great. You guys might be over here in March. And I mean, looking at your tour dates here, you're pretty much playing like 25 shows in 28 days or something like that. I mean, most young bands in their 20s couldn't pull off the schedule that you guys have.
Yeah, for some reason it works better for us like that. We're not fans of days off. Days off are just days where you could be playing. So we're all a bit like that. We're surprised. What surprises us is that Brian can do that, because earlier on in the early 80s, it would be 3, 4, 5 shows before he needed a rest with his voice.
Sure.
And his voice is so strong now, it's just crazy. He just manages to keep it going. And so when he says that's okay, then it's great for the rest of us,
Awesome. And again, the new Satan album, Songs in Crimson, is out. And Steve, I wanted to ask you about the status of the band Skyclad. Are you still working with them as well?
Yeah, we're still together and we're still gigging. We did Hellfest this year. It's a big festival in France. We've put some music together during COVID, during lockdown. And Kevin, our singer, is struggling to write lyrics. He's having a sort of a mental block. And we're going to have to, after this tour with, it's becoming a long time now. And after this tour with Satan, we're going to have a look at that in October.
Well, man, you helped usher in thrash metal with Satan, and then, Skyclad did the same with folk metal. I mean, you're really like one of the founding fathers for a lot of people's favorite music.
Thank you. It's much appreciated that when people say that to me.
Well, again, I know Satan is on tour here, Songs in Crimson just out. Is there anything else maybe you're working on we should look for?
No. We've got our hands full. Well, actually, I was going to say we all work, but there's only me now. I'm still a teacher, so I split my time between doing the band and teaching as well. So, yeah, busy.
Awesome, man. It's been an honor again speaking with you, and the new album sounds great, and I'm glad that you're still out there getting it done, man.
Yeah, it's good fun.
All right, thanks a lot, Steve.
Cheers, man. Nice to speak to you.
And again, that was Steve Ramsey, guitarist for the band Satan. Their new album, Songs in Crimson, is out now.